I'm back again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Friday, April the 17th, 2020. Oh, I got ahead of YouTube that time. The only good thing about what's been going on with these live streams as of late is that I'm not the only one that's having issues. So, thank goodness for that. But that being said, we're back. It's episode 44 of McRae Live. And today I wanted to do something a little different. We tried to do this before a few moments ago. There was an echo that was going on, but it wasn't that bad. I could have continued. The reason why I didn't continue was not because of the echo, actually. It had nothing to do with the echo. It was, I could see that YouTube was going to crap out on me. And I was like, oh, hang on a sec. And you probably heard me say, hang on a second, right? And then it happened and I had to restart my computer and everything. It's not my computer, it's not the internet or anything, but it's it's whatever YouTube is doing to a lot of people at the moment. But I'm back, and if there is, I think I have solved the echo issue. However, if there is a bit of an echo again, let's just roll with it, okay? So if you're watching this after the fact, there may be a slight echo. It's not that bad. It's not like, hey, ho, hey, what's going on? It's not like that. It's just a little bit of, just almost like a little bit of reverb, just like I'm sitting in the bathroom taking a crap or something. I don't know. But I'm bumping. Yeah. So, but you know what? I wanted to do something a little different for this episode. And so I thought I would give you some live director's commentary on a little short film that I did almost 10 years ago now called The Intruder. And The Intruder is based on the first 20 minutes of the original When a Stranger Calls from 1979. And I like that movie a lot. I do. But I think most people agree that the first 20 minutes of that movie is really the best 20 minutes of that movie. And then the ending is really cool too. You know, when she picks up the phone in the restaurant and, have you checked the children? And she's like, oh my God, it's him. I mean, it's just so cool stuff, right? Gives me goosebumps thinking about it. I enjoyed the 2006 remake. I didn't think it was great, but, you know, I liked it for what it was. I haven't seen it in many years. I did like the fact that they always kept him in shadow. I like that. Until the end of the movie when you saw him in the back of the police car, and it was kind of like, really? Like, now you're showing his face? Kind of lame. Anyway, in 2010, I think it was, so it was 10 years ago, I said to my buddy Bruce, I want to do a little short film based on the first 20 minutes of When a Stranger Calls. He's like, all right. So I wrote it, I directed it, I shot it, and Bruce was my gaffer, and he was also he was more like he was my assistant camera as well, and he took care of the lighting and all that, and we had a good time. We shot it over, I think it was three days, I think it was. And funny enough, we shot a lot of the first half of the movie over one day, and then the next day we had to reshoot a lot of what we shot because there was just, I was looking at the dailies, I was looking at the footage afterwards, I was thinking to myself, you know, I think I can do better. I think I can do better. And I mean, this movie now I look at and I'm like, you know what? It's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad for a movie that's almost 10 years old now. You know, a little independent film that I was doing on a shoestring budget. We shot it full HD, but it was, you know, we were, I think we shot the whole movie for, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. It's got to be under $1,000. But we you know, we knew people who had, you know, locations that we could use, and we knew somebody, you know, it was that kind of thing, right? It's Me, Billy's very different. It's Me, Billy's, you know, as I keep saying to people, it's Me, Billy's going to be a, you know, high production value film. But this was pretty good, and we really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed the process, and we really enjoyed doing this because obviously we wanted to get out there and flex our creative muscles and keep the creative juices flowing, and really sort of just kind of, you know, just do what we do what independent filmmakers do, and get down and gritty and in the trenches and shoot a movie. And we had a lot of fun doing it. And so let's get to it. I want to give you some director's commentary on that. One second here. On that. There we go. That's better. on, just make sure I have everything set up on that short film that I did. So I'm excited to do this with you guys, and hopefully you guys will have a lot of fun watching it with me. It is on my channel, just YouTube Dave McRae, The Intruder, and it will come up. So you can watch it on your own if you want. Intel Wild sends in a super chat and says, Dave, thanks for re-rendering my super chat, or re-rendering. I got the independent film. Dave, thanks for rereading my super chat last Friday when YouTube went down and you had to restart the show. Shows you really care and didn't forget about that. I have to go into work, so I will listen later. No problem, man. No problem. I mean, it's only fair, right? I mean, it's out of your control and it's out of my control, but I have the control to be able to read it again, you know, and thankfully I was able to do it. You know what I mean? Like, thankfully it wasn't down for too long, you know? I don't know what happens. Sometimes YouTube flies, but I've been talking to other people, you know, and even some of the bigger channels have been having some issues. I don't know if it's because everybody's at home and the servers are, I don't know. It's crazy, but here we are. So let's do this. And hopefully there won't be an echo. I hope not. Let me see if we can get some things set up here. I'm supposed to get everything. So, okay. Hopefully there won't be an echo, but if there is, what the fuck are you going to do? Let me get that ready. Okay. And that. So here we go. And in 5, 4, okay, so I'm going to be on the bottom right. Right. And the movie will be at the top left over here. Okay. At least that's the plan. All right, here we go, folks. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Is there an echo? Is there an echo, ladies and germs? Let me know if there's an echo. I'm hoping there's no echo. I'm hoping not, but we shall see. Let me know. Is there an echo? Let's find out. We're good. No echo. Good. That's what I like to hear, folks. Now, the audio from the movie will be louder than me. I do know that. Anyway, here we are. This is opening shot of The Intruder as the credits roll by at the bottom screen. Oh yeah, I should have read the synopsis while that's going. Jenna, a woman home alone, house sitting for the weekend, is haunted by a stranger on the telephone. That's not even really a synopsis. It's more of a log line. But nonetheless, this was a lot of fun to shoot. Now, the title here, The Intruder. I actually had the font smaller, and Bruce said, I think we should bring it up, make it bigger. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So we did. We made it. Well, it's going to be a beautiful. Now, this voice that you hear is not my voice at all. A lot of people tend to think it's my voice, the voice on the radio. It is not my voice. It is actually just a, I don't want to say sound effect because it's not a sound effect, but it's stock. It's stock sound, if you will. And we were like, hey, that's perfect for this. Because I didn't want to use my voice. I just didn't feel like it. I'm already the voice of the intruder in the film, so I just didn't want to do that. This house was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous to shoot. We shot this in May of 2011. And there's Tanya Dodds playing Jenna. I haven't spoken to Tanya in years. Tanya, if you're watching, I hope you're doing well. Local Toronto actress. And she was great. A lot of fun to work with, professional. We had a blast. And this location is about, I'd say about 25 minutes north of Hamilton, Ontario. Makes you feel like you're really in the boonies. You're really not. But this is a typical beautiful spring May day here in Ontario, Canada, as you can see. All the sound effects you're hearing here with the, the crickets, that train you hear, that train, the crow, things like that. All added in, of course. All sound effects that were added in afterwards. Mason James says, A Stranger is Calling. Yes, it's based, yes, The Intruder is based on the first 20 minutes of When a Stranger Calls. That's right. Opening the door, ladies and germs. Now that piano there is beautiful, and we wanted to use this piano. I had written a couple of scenes that were going to get kind of creepy with the piano, but we just didn't have time. We were working on a budget. There is a family living in this house. There is a family, like everywhere we're shooting, the family is not. But the family is actually in the background, in the kitchen or in the living room or wherever, sort of maneuvering around our equipment and shooting. And it was kind of fun. You'd never know there was like a family of 4 there, but there is. And of course, the idea is that she's home alone. So we had to create the illusion that there's literally nobody in the house. But there is a family of 4, and they had young kids and even a newborn baby. And sometimes the baby in the background would go, ah, ah, and it's kind of like, oh God, what the hell is going on? You know, we had to be like, okay, cut. Can we do that again? The footsteps you hear, all added in. The birds, the elements, the sounds, all added in afterwards, of course. I wrote the movie, directed it, and shot it, of course, so I'm behind the camera here as well, using a, it's not a steady cam rig, but it's like that. That is what it's designed for, which we rented. And this was just to show, you know, it's long as she's walking through the place, kind of checking out the apartment. But I wanted the house. But I wanted to instill a sense of sort of just calm and peace, and as if there's nothing wrong. You know, you get a good look at the house. Wanted to utilize the look of the house, of course, because the house is like a character in the movie. And that's why we did that. But as she comes into the bedroom here, you hear that there's now some soundscape that comes in. And that, of course, is foreshadowing eventually what happens in the bedroom later on in the movie. She walks up to the window, looks out. The camera's sort of coming up behind her like that. Wanted to be very, not completely still, not like we're gliding, but sort of just kind of a little unsteady, like we're floating a little bit. That was intentional on our part. Darren Sand says, oh, talking to Frank. Great. Love when you guys talk to each other. Takes the pressure off me. The phone, of course, that you hear ringing is added in afterwards. I think she's got a BlackBerry there. That's how far back this is.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah, what's up?
Not much. Hey, listen.
Now, that voice you hear on the phone, her boyfriend, that is me as well.
Sitting for Tom and Lisa
I think that's the reason why I didn't want to be the guy in the car, because
they're back on Sunday.
Oh, sure. They want you to watch their house.
Well, I'm sure if we actually had a house, they'd do the same thing for us.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Tanya Dodd's how I discovered her. She was actually in a Netflix commercial.
And absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I really gotta get out and see their house.
I didn't know that until I auditioned her. And I was like, were you in a Netflix commercial? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, I saw that commercial. Yeah, she was a lot of fun to work with.
Well, what time are you done work?
What time is it now?
Yeah, she has a BlackBerry. I think it's a BlackBerry. Is that a BlackBerry?
Are we going to,
No, we're
I
not
think it is.
doing
If it is,
Come on, why not?
it's just funny because it's so
I said
dated.
So, that's why.
You know, and it's not that long ago, right? It's like, just 2000 and
All right. Listen, I
and
gotta
11.
Okay, well, just call me when you're on your way over, okay?
go. Okay, will do.
I'm going to take a look around a bit more.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
I sound like such an unenthused prick. I really do. Although I kind of make up for it a bit later. I sound like I care a bit. Well, actually, I never really sound like I care. This shot here, we wanted to, of course, this is beautiful. I mean, look how beautiful that is. And that is literally, just beyond the water there that you see, just beyond the water is the highway, is the road. So we're really not that far in the boonies, but we liked that this house was within pretty close proximity to where we all lived, and you got that sort of isolated sort of feel. We liked that, you know. Funny Felon says, I forgot that not everyone is as fortunate. Hope it works out for you, Darren. Oh, what's going on, Darren? I'm not paying attention to the chat. I'm giving director's commentary. I'll catch up with Darren later, and hopefully you're doing okay, buddy. Of course, Tanya here, or Jenna, I should say, just checking out the environment of the house. And of course, these shots are utilized just to set the mood, set the tone, create a sense of atmosphere, establish the house as a character in the movie. Looking at all the windows there, is somebody peeking out at you? Is somebody not peeking out at you? Does she have reason to, be worried? She's enamored with the house. The moon looking over the house. It's like a Friday the 13th moon, isn't it? Isn't that like a Friday the 13th moon? All you need to hear is la la da 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 na 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 na. House is just gorgeous. Perfect for this kind of movie. Even the spoon that she was using to stir the tea there, of course, added in afterwards. The crickets you hear now, or the spring peepers, I should say, you hear sort of in the distance outside because she has one of the windows open. All added in afterwards. Everything. We ADR'd a lot of this. Frank Riker says, Dave, was that your old car in the opening? That was my old car. It was, yes. I had a Matrix years ago. It was perfect for booting around in. And then I went from a Matrix, yeah, that's a long time ago now. I had that, like, quite a long time ago. I haven't had that in years.
Hello?
It was a perfect car to boot around in.
Hello?
Ooh, hello. Nobody there. Nobody there, bitch. Imagine that was it on the phone. Hey, bitch, what's going on? And again, you know, here's a good example of when to use music and when not to use music. We decided not to use music here because we felt it was more powerful without it, and just letting the elements and the environment speak for themselves, and let the phone be your sort of cue. And I think it works well. There's actually not music for a little bit.
Hello?
Again, so she's got 2 phone calls. She goes back to reading. Then we cut to the moon again, I think, or maybe the outside of the house to show a passage of time. Okay, so we cut to the outside of the house showing a passage of time. And then we cut back into the house and she's upstairs in the bedroom. And she gets another phone call. Love the walls in this bedroom too. That's one of the things I liked about this master bedroom is that the walls were red. So it creates sort of it's almost got like this shining kind of feel to it.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, just
You
just
call
bring
me. You can say something.
a lot of memories coming back because I haven't seen this and I haven't watched this
can tell you
movie
if you have the right number.
probably at least 7 or 8 years. Had no reason to really at the end of the day.
Hello?
Oh, here I come again.
Try to call the landline.
Useless prick that I am.
No, you didn't give me the number.
Yes, I did give you the number. I wrote it on the kitchen counter and you mumbled okay.
Oh. Okay, well, what's wrong?
So we framed the shot like this. I framed the shot like this because I wanted to draw your attention. She's on the left side of the screen, but your eye can't help but draw to the railing in the background, as if somebody's going to step out, as if somebody's going to walk by. Nobody ever does, though. And that's deliberate, just to create an uneasy sort of feeling as you watch. And then we watch her do her hair up here. There's no reason to watch that. But again, it lingers longer than it needs to, and I like that. So this is like, what, the 5th phone call? She's gotten in her pajamas. She's house sitting for the weekend. Like, what the fuck? And then here we go.
Hello?
Have you locked the doors?
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And this is the first piece of music I think we've had since she was upstairs, or since she was outside looking at the house. So this was fun. Love that look, just like the blue sort of dark sky with the trees silhouetted. It's nice. Closes the door. Another passage of time. She's sitting waiting. Here comes Greg Rhombus, I think this actor's name was. Greg Rhombus, who plays the police officer. I always think he kind of looks a little bit like Jay from We Watched a Movie. Don't you guys think he looks a little bit like Jay from We Watched a Movie?
But yeah, I'm sure.
A little bit, eh? A little bit. A little bit, eh? A little bit, don't you think so?
Sorry, you did the right thing. That's what we're here for.
Well, I can show you out.
Sure.
But Greg Rhombus, yeah, I don't know whatever happened to him, but I think he's still acting a little bit. So he feels something, senses something as the police officer. There's something there. Classic police officer.
This place is pretty nice. You live here alone?
No, it's not my place. I'm just house sitting for the weekend.
Think of a place to be house sitting. Oh, do you have a friend or boyfriend maybe that could have been messing around out here?
My boyfriend's not like that. And besides, he's at work anyway.
Okay. Well, I'll take a look around outside.
Obviously, the cop
like
sound,
I said,
the
you're good to
police
go.
radio sound
Thanks.
effects all added in
Thanks, sir.
afterwards, obviously. Those are not hard to
Oh,
find
no.
online. I have files of thousands of sound effects I've collected over the years. Now, this is something you got to pay attention here because not a lot of people notice this. Okay, our intruder, the guy who plays the intruder, is standing outside. Now, it's my voice you hear, but you will see him on the left side of the screen by the light outside the window. And not a lot of people pick up on that. All right, this is real time. I can't stop it, so I will show you. Here it comes. Pay
Hello?
attention to the left side, right?
Hello?
Are you alone?
There, right there.
Excuse
He's
me?
leaning against the window outside the light. Or outside the light. Outside the door, under the light. Are you alone? I love that. Then, of course, we start to see him in the background, peek around the corner. It was fun. Do a little bit of a Michael Myers thing here. Who the fuck is that? Standing there on his BlackBerry? No, I don't know.
Hello?
And of course he's gone. I mean, that's classic. You can't do this kind of a movie without doing something like that, right? It's bringing back a lot of memories. We had a lot of fun shooting this. It was a lot of fun. And you know what? It turned out pretty good. For what we wanted to do, it turned out pretty good. There's a lot of things I would have done differently, of course, if I had a higher budget.
Hello?
But it was just a spur of the moment sort of, hey, let's make this
Hello?
little movie. You know what I mean?
Well, say something, you piece of shit.
I can see you.
She can see. As Jenna looks back outside as the moon starts to fade into the distance. Ooh, I don't know, folks. Pretty cool, pretty cool.
Hello?
You know what? For a little
Listen, when are you gonna be
B
here?
I have no
low
idea
budget
why.
Because I'm asking
movie
calling my house, telling me
that I
you can
shot
see
10
me.
years
Watching
ago,
those movies
it holds
again
up pretty good.
No, I haven't been watching horror movies.
That's actually, I'm
When
actually
do you get
surprised.
here?
It's actually
No
not
idea,
bad.
Janet. We're not even close to being done.
I'm serious, Mike. I'm really scared. I mean, can you back out of it?
Let me see what I can do, and I'll talk to a few
Okay,
people.
alright. Well, just call me when you're on your way, okay?
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, I wrote this in like a weekend or something, and then we gathered shit together, cast, everything. Like it's actually not bad. Okay, here, I think we'll get a good shot to see if this is a BlackBerry. It's totally a BlackBerry! Woo! BlackBerry! That's funny. And of course, if you tuned into two dudes and some bullshit the other night, we were watching Insidious. And I shot this movie the year Insidious came out, so this is why this song is in this movie. I ripped the idea. Fun stuff, though. I love this shot that we're about to get of Jenna coming up the stairs here in a second. This shot right here. I love that. It's creepy. It's eerie. It's the camera's kind of walking backwards as she's coming towards it. The chandelier there is beautiful, too. It was a beautiful house. I had a BlackBerry, too, Mark. Obviously, the song's added in afterwards. She's responding to nothing. In reality, there is no music playing. And the big reveal.
Hello?
Here it comes.
Hello? What the fuck
do you want?
This was fun to shoot. We choreographed a little bit of it, not all of it, but a little bit of it in which way to swing her and where I was going to... There was some blocking we had to do. Yeah, you know, I'm laughing. It actually holds up all right for what it was. I love it. It's great. I think this actor's name who's playing the intruder, I think his name is Lawrence Bill. Lawrence Bill, I think? Because I remember his last name, I think it was like 2 first names. He was great. He was British. I think he was British. God, Lawrence, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Maybe you weren't. I'm pretty sure he was. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe I'm way off on that. Yeah. He's coming. He's coming. Come on! Come on! Get him out! Come on! Get out! And then this is great. This shot coming right back as she comes out the door. The camera's moving backwards. I have the camera rigged up. I'm walking backwards as she walks towards me.
He's in the house. He's trying to kill me.
The man is in the house trying to kill me. I love that. Takes off. I love watching the car just kind of drive into the distance away from the camera, and all you see is just the foliage on the side from the headlights, but everything else is black. That was really cool. This was fun to shoot. We shot this at 3:30 in the morning.
Hello?
Mike, it's me. You have to
At a
meet
little
me
diner
downstairs.
down the street from where the house
I was
was.
attacked by someone at the house.
What? What are you talking about? What do you mean you were attacked?
I gotta let this play out because
You're
this
not
is
here?
fun.
Where are you?
I'm at the house. I just got here. Jenna, what's going on?
No, Mike, you have to
Finally.
get out of there. He's still
Calm
there.
down
The
for a
boyfriend
second,
comes
okay?
to the rescue.
You're breaking up
The
and I
boyfriend
can't-
in the movie. I wasn't actually
You
the
have to get out of there. I
boyfriend.
was attacked by someone at the house. You have to get the fuck out. He's still there.
Jenna, look, you're breaking up bad, okay? I can hardly hear you. Just give me a sec. I'm gonna call you back.
Mike, fuck.
Yeah, she was all right. She did a
Mike?
really good job.
Mike. Fuck.
I mean, this whole thing was shot in like 2 days, folks. Wasn't bad.
Mike.
It was tough, though.
What makes you think I'm still at the house?
Classic ending, folks. And of course, it is in memory of my mother who passed away that year. Yeah, my mother passed away in 2011. She unfortunately did not survive long enough to see this movie. But we had a good time. We had a good time making it. And, you know, again, this was shot, I think, in about 2.5 days. And I put it together over the next month or so. And just watching it now with you guys, which is the first time I've watched it in probably, I don't know, like I said, 7, 8, 9 years maybe.
I'm gonna ask you to
It's not that bad. It holds up. It holds up all right. It still holds up. You know, it was fun. It still holds out. It's a good little show. It goes to show you what you can do with a limited budget, right? It's all about, you know, character and story. It's all about the camera angles you choose, the lighting you choose, you know, the pace. There's a lot of, really, in how you shoot something is really, really important. You know, if you're working on a shoestring budget or a budget of some kind, you know, take your time, craft your shots, you know, craft your angles, work with your actors, rehearse, craft your blocking. You know, understand where the camera's going to move and where the actor's going to move. I mean, we did all that in this. You know, I mean, I didn't just hold up the camera and say, okay, go. You know what I mean? Like, we knew what we were going to do. Even that little fight scene at the end there, I would say about, you know, 70% of it was improvised, but there was about 30% that we actually blocked because I wanted to be close and then move back and yada, yada. And it turned out all right, you know? It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Are you alone? Watching this makes me really excited to do It's Me, Billy. because, you know, as I've mentioned many times, It's Me, Billy is a you know, this is low budget, fun, spur of the moment kind of thing. Very much kind of like what Bruce and I did with, let me go back to my other shot. There we go. Very much what Bruce and I did with, there we go, with Haddonfield Reaper. That's on our channel. Spur of the moment, fun thing to put together. But It's Me, Billy is going to be, you know, as I said, a professional, independent production. So it just, doing this makes me really excited to get into It's Me, Billy, and get cracking on that. And I feel the pain of filmmakers everywhere, whether you're, you know, doing a multi-million-dollar picture or you're working at the independent level like myself or Vince or you know, Cecil. I mean, well, Vince is probably feeling pretty good because he was able to shoot Never Hike in the Snow and get it on like just under the radar, like just under the deadline, you know, in terms of this whole COVID thing. I mean, there was if he had to shoot another week, he wouldn't have been able to do it. And he told me, oh no, we would have had to push it to like next year, you know, because he needs the snow too. He was just able to finish. So I have no doubt he's counting his lucky, you know, his lucky stars and just, you know, because he's in post now, right? Now, if there's any pickups he needs to do or any reshoots he would have to do that does require him to go all the way up there, that might be a problem for him. Or maybe it's something that can be done inside. Maybe it's something that's not a big deal. Or maybe they've looked at all the footage and they're like, you know what, we've got it. Like it was a tight shoot, but we've got everything that we need. But he's really lucky, and I know he feels really good about that. And I'm like, oh man, thank goodness you were able to get it like right in there. You know what I'm saying? But of course, Cecil with Dylan's New Nightmare, that's had to be pushed, obviously. We were going to shoot that in about a month from now, but we can't. And of course, I was going to launch my Indiegogo campaign for It's Me, Billy this month. We can't do that. It's probably not even going to be next month. It might, you know, we're probably looking at June, the earliest now. It's just the reality, you know, and it sucks. It really does suck because we're really excited to get going on it. I mean, we've cast our 3 main leads. There's still a couple of roles that we have to cast. Bruce and I are supposed to have a production meeting tomorrow afternoon. We're going to be breaking down the budget. That way we have that all set. So that's ready to go when we do launch our Indiegogo campaign. A figure will be there. People have been asking me, you know, again, what I think the figure will be. Well, I don't know for sure until I break it down with Bruce tomorrow, but ballpark, we're probably looking at anywhere between $40,000 to $50,000 Canadian. That's Canadian. So I think 45,000 Canadian. I think it's like 34,000 US, something like that. Something like that. But it will be in and around there. And hopefully we can do it. And but we're really excited. We're really excited. And watching that little short film that I did 10 years ago makes me excited to get back into the, you know, the throw of things and dish out a high caliber professional production. So I'm really looking forward to it. And of course I can't do it without you guys. You know what I mean? You guys are the backbone that's going to make that thing happen. And thank you for indulging me on this episode of McRae Live and watching that. You know, I have to admit that I wasn't giving a lot of commentary, I guess, because I was watching for the first time in a long time. So it's almost like I was rediscovering it. But I was, you know, hopefully I did okay. I was trying to add little bits of information there that popped into my head from remembering that occasion many moons ago now, almost a decade ago. It's crazy stuff. But thank you for indulging me. That was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do more of that. Maybe I'll do Haddonfield Reaper too. That little thing that I did with Bruce. That would be fun to do. That'd be fun to do. Maybe I should do that. Tabitha Short says, I like this movie the first time I watched it. Still good, Dave. Thank you, Tabitha. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's not bad. It's not bad. Johnny T says, hey, Dave, in your opinion, how much would a $325,000 budget from 78 equate to today? Oh, it'd be over $1 million, low millions for sure. Maybe a couple million, maybe something like that. I'm not sure. 1 point something, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Today. And so is an independent production classified as the same as the fan film today? Thanks. No. No, a fan film would be a film that is an independent production is any movie that is independently produced. So it's not backed by a studio. It's not backed by, it's got, it raises its funds independently from the studio system. It raises its funds on Kickstarter, on Indiegogo. It's got people like you. You're not involved in the industry per se, but you're helping to back certain productions that you believe in. You know what I mean? And independent filmmakers will often back each other's projects and so on and so forth. And or it can be an independent production company. And so all fan films are independently made because fan films, you're using the IP, the intellectual property of somebody else's creation. So you cannot sell a fan film for profit. Like you cannot, you couldn't, Vince couldn't, unless Vince had the rights to do it, he couldn't just on his own go to Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime and say, hey, I have Never Hike in the Snow, buy it from me and put it on your thing. You can't do that. You can't make money like that because it's Friday the 13th, right? But he can put it on YouTube, he can put it on Vimeo or wherever. So all fan films are independently made, but not all independent productions are fan films. I mean, Insidious, I believe, was an independent film. The original Halloween was an independent film. I think Insidious. No. Insidious was. I don't think Insidious was. It was a low budget though, 1.5 million. The original Halloween was independent. Blair Witch Project was independent. Paranormal Activity. I even think the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990, I think that was an independently produced production as well. There are independent production companies out there that raise money and help to create movies that are not backed by the larger studios. And that, please don't go yet, Dave. I'm not going. Where am I going? Please don't go yet, Dave. I'm not going. I'm here for another hour or so, folks. It's only 37 minutes into the show. I'm not going anywhere, Mark Johnson. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to give sort of the Cliff Notes version of it. Just know that all fan films are independently produced, but not all independently produced films are fan films, of course. There are independent movies that win Oscars. Let's not forget that, right? Chris Haim says, saving my Trump bucks for your super chat-a-thon. Awesome, Chris. We're going to need you, buddy. We're going to need you. Yep. Bruce and I are definitely going to do that. We're going to, we'll probably do it a couple of times where we will, and I might even do it on my own too. There might be a McRae live, or a regular AMA where I go live and I take nothing but super chats. And that's not something that I plan on just doing all the time, but for the purposes of raising additional or I don't want to put all my eggs into one basket, right? So, we want to have the Indiegogo campaign, which is great. That's awesome. But we also kind of want to maybe do this as well. And I'm thinking maybe I might have an email that people can donate to, if they don't want to donate to the campaign, or maybe they already have donated to the campaign, right? You know what I mean? Like a tip jar, almost. And they can throw in, I got an extra $5. You know what? I'm going to give it to the campaign. You know what I mean? Or, the film. So you tip it in the $5, all that kind of stuff. We're going to utilize a few different avenues to try and raise the money that we need, but we're excited about it, and because it's a really good script. The actors are extraordinarily talented, and I just can't wait to get going on it. And we got a DP that is at the top of his game, and we're just really excited. We're just really excited. It just sucks that this whole COVID thing's putting a damper on everything. Lauren Downing said, I just showed Wyatt the TMNT movie last week. He loved it. Yeah! Oh, I loved that movie when it came out. You are all here because the outside world rejects you. I love it. Shredder. He was good. Aaron Click says, Johnny T, 325,978. Oh, 1 million. So I was on the money. I used an inflation calculator online. Cool. There you go. There you go. So 1.2 million. So it's essentially, it's even lower than what Insidious was in 2010. Insidious had a budget of 1.5 million. So even the original Halloween with 325,000 in 1978 would be just under what Insidious was today. Crazy, isn't it? And it made over $50 million at the box office. Halloween did. Now, it took a while to get there. It wasn't an immediate success. We know that. It took a while to get there. But pretty cool stuff. Did I miss? Was there a super? There was an Intel while Dave thing. Oh, okay. No, I got it already. I knew there was a super chat that came in, but I read it at the beginning. Cool stuff. Yeah, Lawrence. I think. Let me see here. Lawrence Bill. His name was Lawrence Bill. I just went to the IMDb page for The Intruder. Lawrence Bill, and he's only got one other credit after The Intruder, and it is Rear View, and he played from 2013, and he played somebody named Sonny. Rear View. I wonder if he's still acting. He was good. He was the perfect specimen for that role. You know what I mean? He was tall. He was like 6'2", broad shoulders. Looked really good. Looked really, really good. And Tanya's gotten into a lot of producing because Tanya's on my Facebook, and she's gotten into a lot of producing. Yeah, she produced Red Spring, The Nicole and Tanya Show, Super Geeked Up, Asset CIA Public Initiative TV movie. Asset, the web series. I guess it's a web series from 2014. Is she still acting? Her last acting credit was Life Changer, Tim's Mom in 2018. The Control, Red Spring. She was a vampire voice in 2017. Good for her, though. Good for her. She was very talented. And I believe her husband, her actor husband, is in a lot of commercials. I see her actor husband all over the place in a lot of ads. And I never met him. But they've been together a long time because they were dating. They weren't married at the time that we shot The Intruder, but they were dating. And they're still together today, as far as I know. Let's check out Greg Rhombus. Greg Rhombus, still acting. V-Wars TV series, 2019. Designated Survivor. He was a soldier on Designated Survivor in 2016. Greg Rhombus is the cop in The Intruder. Cool. He's still kicking it. Still kicking it, Greg. Good to see that he's still kicking it. Cool. Funny Felon says, I think he's got a vid on that. Movies. Movie Chat and More says, hi, Dave. Hope you're good. The Halloween novel has Lori saying it was the boogeyman, wasn't it? Well, the novel says that, yeah. But that's not what she says in the movie. In the movie, she says it was the boogeyman. And folks have to remember that the novel was written after the movie came out. Okay. It was written and released in 1979. The shit that you see in the novel is made up. It's made up to give context to the movie's translation into novel form. The Halloween movie as is right now doesn't translate very well to a book. It's kind of boring. Not a lot there. It wouldn't be a very long book. So the author of the novel, and obviously he would have had the approval to do this, but and I believe he had the script as well, but he created context, gave context to things, to flesh things out, to fill things out, to give Michael a backstory, to give him a little bit of a reason, you know what I mean? And obviously with the line, it was the boogeyman, which was in the script, the author just changed it to, it was the boogeyman, wasn't it? Just adding his own flair to it, you know what I mean? And, but yeah, no, that is in the novel. Yep. That is correct. That is correct. Movie Chat and More. Michael King says Halloween 1978 would have made $272 million today by inflation, beating Halloween 2018. Well, if all things were equal, you know what I mean? If we were to literally, but who's to say that movie would have made that money today? It translates to that money today, but there's no guarantee that if Halloween was released today, that it would have made that money today. But I get what you're saying. I'm nitpicking a little bit, but I get what you're saying. Cavern of Terror says, hey, Dave, will you eventually do some McRae lives with your It's Me, Billy cast? I feel like that's something that would be cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I've yet to meet them yet in person. And because we did all the auditions over like we sent the auditions, they sent us the videos, we've talked to them on the phone, you know, we've got to know them on the phone. our goal was to hold you see, like we're so behind because of this COVID-19 thing, and it's really unfortunate. We had a location that we were going to look at about 4.5 hours from here in Almont, Ontario. That's been put on hold. There was another location in Ottawa, Ontario that we wanted to have a look at. That's been put on hold. And then because there's some adjustments we're going to want to make to the script once we can solidify these two locations. Some just minor things to kind of touch it up and make it suit the location for which we're going to shoot. And then we want to have a table read. You know, we want to get together and go, not a table read. That will, well, we do want to have that, but that'll come in the summer. Well, that was going to come in the summer. I mean, now, depending on how long this thing goes on, that might not come till the fall. I mean, we were going, the goal was to launch the campaign like now and hopefully go to camera if we can raise the money in November. That was the goal. But if that doesn't happen, if we can't launch our campaign till August, we ain't shooting the movie in November. We'll probably have to shoot the movie in like March or something like that. And if this thing goes on right through the whole year, we ain't shooting this until next year. You know what I mean? And it sucks, but it's the reality. And so our goal, the original plan was to go out to lunch with all of them and shoot the shit, get to know each other. And then in the summer, we were going to have a table read and all that kind of stuff. So I'd like to meet them first and get to know them and go out to lunch with them. Of course, we can't do that now because we can't go to any restaurants. And we can't do that now because we're not even supposed to go over to each other's houses. So myself and Shelby and Victoria and Malika, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Malika? Oh, let me just bring this up. Malika, yes. I'm always so afraid I'm going to mispronounce that. Bruce and we're all just sort of in a holding pattern, kind of waiting till this goes away so we can get going on this. You know what I mean? And of course, if it does get pushed, if we cannot shoot in November, then I have to, we have to rearrange and go, hey, is everybody available in March? Because Greg is a professional DP and he's shooting features and shorts and commercials all the time. I mean, at the highest level of the game. He just finished shooting a feature film. So, I mean, he might not be available in in February. And then we got to figure out, oh my God, it's shitty, but I'll be talking about this with Bruce this weekend for sure. But but definitely that is something that I think would be fun to do. QC Radio AJ says, Dave, wondering if the upcoming Halloween films, Laurie and Michael will both die, possibly together. Your thoughts? I think not in Halloween Kills. I think it's very probable, maybe even possible, maybe even probable in Halloween Ends, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Nick Push's horror channel says, Dave, I know you've mentioned this before, but how long will the film It's Me, Billy be? Well, the script is about 23 pages long. The script may go through a couple little, of adjustments between now and the time we go to camera. So maybe it might end up being 21 pages or 22 pages. The rule of thumb is a minute a page, but that all depends on how much action you have on a page, how much dialogue you have on a page. It's just a rule of thumb, right? A 90-page script is generally speaking a 90-minute movie. So if you want to look at that, you're looking at about a 23-minute movie. But this is a suspenseful, slow burn kind of film. So there's no doubt there's going to be scenes we're going to milk a little longer than what might appear on the page. So I think at the end of the day, It's Me, Billy will probably be between 25 and 30 minutes long. That's what I think. But we won't know until we get into the editing room. Robert Thidoff says, did you find the original When a Stranger Calls boring in the middle? I thought the beginning and ending were the best part of the movie. Rest in peace, Brian Dennehy. Yes, Brian Dennehy, rest in peace. My man, Brian Dennehy, of course, Cocoon and Tommy Boy, and he did a lot of theater and Rambo, First Blood. Yeah, definitely. The best parts of When a Stranger Calls is the first 20 minutes and like the last 10 minutes. The middle, the TV movie, there's a sequel to that movie. I believe it was a TV movie called When a Stranger Calls Back. And that was a creepy movie too. You guys should check that out. That was kind of creepy. But I tend to side with what you're saying there. Movie Chat and More says, hey, Dave, what do you think is the most underrated Halloween movie? The most underrated Halloween movie? Most underrated. I don't think any of them are underrated. I think they're all rated appropriately. And I mean that. I'm not trying to be satirical. I think they're all rated appropriately. I think 1 is the best. I think 2 is the second best. I think 3 actually is a little overrated. And I like 3. I do like 3. I do. But watching it now, and you've heard me say this, the concept of 3 is terrific. It's a terrific concept, but it's far too big for the sandbox they're playing in. They didn't have enough. The idea is awesome, but they needed more money. It's a bigger, larger scale concept. And I would like to see the Halloween 3 get remade today. Not even connected to the Halloween universe. Like not even, no, just call it Season of the Witch, and just have it like a standalone thing that has nothing to do with anything, and give them a $10 million budget and then see what they can do. Because I think there's a lot to explore there. But I think every Halloween movie is rated appropriately, in my opinion. Like, I don't think 6 is underrated. I don't think 5 is underrated. I don't think Resurrection's underrated. I don't think H2O's underrated. I don't think Rob Zombie's films are underrated. So, take that how you want to take it. Excuse me. David Ferguson says, do you have any ideas or plans for future projects beyond It's Me, Billy? What about a sequel to The Intruder? I never thought about doing a sequel to The Intruder because I always looked at The Intruder as sort of just kind of like an exercise in some ways. It turned out really good, but no, I never really thought of one. A sequel to The Intruder. Maybe, you never know. I could always call up Tanya and say, hey, what are you doing? Did you survive? Did he get you? We pick up exactly where the first one left off, and it's 10 years later. She looks older. Everybody looks so much older. It's kind of like, that's kind of strange. No, I don't think I'll attack. If I was to ever do anything with The Intruder, I would probably just remake The Intruder and make it like how I'm doing It's Me, Billy. Like full on professional independent short. You know what I mean? Where the production value is insane. Now we shot The Intruder on, what the fuck? It was full HD. I want to say it was a prosumer camera. It wasn't like the Canon XL H1 or anything. It wasn't, that's prosumer, I think. It wasn't like a $10,000 camera, but it was one of those, what was the name of it? The Canon, it wasn't small. It was big. Damn, I can't remember the name of it. But full HD, 24 frames a second. Yeah, I mean, it looked really good. And when you know how to shoot a movie, when you know how to craft shots and you know how to craft your lighting and work with your actors and your blocking and take your time and, you can do that on this, when you know what you're doing. So I think The Intruder turned out as well as it did because we knew what we were doing. But if I was going to do anything with The Intruder, I'd probably just remake it so I could shoot it on like the Red, you know what I mean? Or, the Airy or, like something, full on, like what we're hoping to do with It's Me, Billy. Anything beyond It's Me, Billy? No, I don't have any personal projects beyond that. However, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If It's Me, Billy is well received, and of course we can't generate the success of a fan film by profits or by how much money it makes at the box office, we sort of, we figure out how well fan films do by how well they're received, by the views that they get, what's the engagement like, is it entering sort of the pop culture, a little bit, and again, there's degrees, right? I mean, I'm not expecting It's Me, Billy to enter the fandom pop culture world like Never Hike Alone has, because it's Black Christmas and people don't like Black Christmas as much as they like Friday the 13th, right? So, I mean, it's relative, right? You got to sort of measure it relative too. But if It's Me, Billy does really well and people really like it, and like, fuck, that was great, we have an idea to extend that story. So just saying, we have an idea. We have an idea. So I don't want to tell you too much more than that. Don't want to tell you too much more, but we have ideas. So, You know, it's fun. I'm pumped for everybody. I'm pumped for Dylan's new nightmare, not just because I'm playing Freddy Krueger, although that's a big part of it. That's pretty fucking cool. I genuinely get excited when my peers are excited and like doing shit. It's great. The energy and the passion is contagious. You know what I mean? Like talking to Vince was great, you know, and talking to Cecil is always great. And then I'm sure, you know, when we all get together and there's some downtime when we're shooting Dylan's new nightmare, and Vince will be talking about Never Hike in the Snow, and Cecil will be talking about crafting shots for what we're shooting right there. And I'll be talking about, you know, It's Me, Billy, and we're all going to get excited for each other. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? A rising tide raises all ships, as you've heard me say. So I'm just excited. And like I said, if it does really well, we have some ideas, just saying. Cavern of Terror follows up with another super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate that. Says, I'm going through a similar situation with my short film. The cast is 95% locked, and our location is very close as well. We may release our film in 2021 with a particular 25th anniversary. Very cool indeed. I like what I'm hearing. Well, like I said, man, take your time, you know, cover your bases, craft everything you need to craft. I mean, if there's any good thing that comes from sort of being halted and, you know, not being able to do anything right now, is we can spend a lot of time on, whether you're in pre-production or development, you can really spend more time on that. So again, it's one of the things that Bruce and I are going to do tomorrow. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to work on the budget. We're going to toss out some ideas. And yeah, there's just a lot of things that we have to go over. And more time isn't necessarily a bad thing, as frustrating as it can be. So I hear you, man. Frank Riker says, I remember he had a heart attack he had a heart attack on stage. Who had a heart attack on stage? Somebody had a heart attack on stage? I missed what you guys are talking about. I don't know what's going on. Nick, talking to Frank Riker, says, another great Dennehy. One was a Hitman. Oh, you guys are talking about Brian Dennehy. Yeah, Hitman, one he did with James Woods called Bestseller. It's great if you haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I'll check that out. Darren Sands says, it pisses me off that the headlines are saying Tommy Boy star Brian Dennehy does. I could not agree more. I know he was in that movie. He was good in that movie. But really? That's like saying, you know, what's that? That's like saying Robert De Niro, star of Bad Grandpa, dies. You know, it's like, really, dude, that's the movie you're gonna pick, you sorry sack of shit. Like who fucking picked that? Some newbie 19-year-old on staff who doesn't know his ass from his elbow about the career of the great Robert De Niro. So you pick Bad Grandpa? I think that's the one he did, right, with Zac Efron or whatever it was, whatever the fuck that was. Like, seriously? I mean, come on, you know? Oh, I hear you, Darren. I thought the same thing. When I read that. I was like, really? I thought it was lame. Movie Chatter Moore says he was such an awesome actor. I didn't get why he was stuck in TV movies for so long. Well, you know, he was a character actor. And I think, you know, there's a variety of reasons why somebody's career moves in the direction it does. There are a lot of factors. It's not just because a actor may not be getting the roles. I mean, that's possible. They may not be getting the offers, but there's a lot of decisions that an actor will make in their own careers that can dictate, you know, the certain roles. Sometimes, and as hard as this is to believe, sometimes it's their choice. They just don't want to. They've been there, done that. I mean, there are a lot of people that are like, why isn't Gene Hackman? Fuck Gene Hackman, man. Because he's been there, done that. And Gene Hackman hasn't been around really since 2004. His last movie was Welcome to Mooseport, or whatever that was. With now I know he narrated something not too long ago, but I think his last movie that he was in was like Welcome to Mooseport with, hey, what's going on? Yeah, Ray Romano. And it's like the great Gene Hackman. He goes out with Welcome to Mooseport. Jesus Christ, really? You know, but I mean, he was like 70 when he did that. He's like, you know what, I kind of want to retire and just kind of, live out the remaining days of my life. Look at Sean Connery. His last movie was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen in 2003. The great Sean Connery. But he was already like 70 something then. He's still alive, by the way. I think he's like 90 or whatever he is now, but he's 12 years older than Harrison Ford. So if Harrison Ford's 78 this year, yeah, Sean Connery would be 90 this year. So, but anyway, there's a number of factors of why actors don't end up in certain, roles or doing certain things. One of which is that they don't get offers. That's true. But there's others as well. There's other reasons. Could be their choice, could be an agent. It could be, I don't know. But there are a lot of factors. There's a lot of factors of why I don't get booked for certain things or why I don't audition for certain things. There could be a reason why. Maybe he really likes the stage, and he feels that he enjoys that process more. That could be a factor as well. Jason Nike says, Sly said Brian helped him with his Rambo character because Brian was a Vietnam, whatever. Vet. Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. That's cool. Yeah, Sly, Sylvester Stallone for you youngins, would definitely have his death, Brian Dennehy's death would have definitely have hit Sly hard for sure, because he was integral to a very transitional moment in Sylvester Stallone's life and very early on in his career, establishing himself as a bona fide, bankable action star. So I could see that being, I could see that for sure. Mason James says, Dave, what about Loomis' backstory where it follows him from when he was a younger, possibly a profiler with the authorities on serial killers all the way until he ends up meeting Michael? Maybe. It might be an interesting, but it would have to be able to stand on its own. Like it would be a show that has nothing to do with Halloween. It wouldn't. It just so happens to be about Dr. Loomis. You know what I mean? And him. It might be interesting. The thing I don't want to see is something to do with Michael Myers, because I know people have said, well, what about a show where we see Dr. Loomis, with the years of him and Michael? And it's like, what do you mean? He spent 8 years trying to reach him and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up. You want to watch that? We already know what we need to know. Boring. That'd be boring. And you don't want to give anything away. You don't want to give too much away unnecessarily. So I've never cared about seeing anything to do with young Michael. But a younger Loomis working his way up and dealing with some weird, crazy people, that might be interesting. Might be kind of fun, But I think some people would love it. Like, it would have to be brilliant, like really good, really well cast, well acted, well executed, great production value, because it needs to stand on its own because you don't have Michael Myers, and it has nothing to do with Halloween. You see Dr. Loomis dealing with patients throughout the year, at every time of the year, so it would just be its own thing, completely its own thing. Maybe I'd entertain, somebody putting it forward, seeing what it has to do with, or seeing what the ideas or the treatment, I should say. I'd be open to hearing a treatment about it. Might be kind of interesting. Robert Thidoff says, Dave, have you seen Presumed Innocent with your guy Harrison Ford and Brian Dennehy? Great. Yes, I have. I think that was 1990. Is that not celebrating its 30th year this year? I think that was 1990. I think. I have seen that movie, but not in a long time. I have that movie on VHS, but I don't have it on Blu-ray or DVD. That's a great movie. Great movie indeed. Let's switch camera angles here. Why not?
Hey, you bastards, what's going on, man? What's going on?
Frank Reger says, when I met him, he had that stare like he knew everything you did that was bad. Who are you talking about? Brian Dennehy? That'd be funny. That's funny, Frank, if that's true. John Jason Nike says, Dave, have you seen VFW yet? Walmart has it pretty cheap. VFW? What's VFW? Why am I VFW? Why am I blanking on that? Tell me what VFW is, Jason. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Michael King says, Dave, you would be awesome as Loomis in one of your fan films. Great. Get Bruce to play Michael. Oh, yeah, maybe. Might be kind of fun if we have some time. Everybody's saying VFW. Okay, let me just, why am I having a brain fart? Okay, it's a 19, VFW. Stephen Lang, William Simon. Guys, I got to be totally honest with you. I've never heard of this movie. I have never heard of this movie, but it looks. I like the cast. I like the cast. How have I not heard of this movie? I'm usually up on what Stephen Lang is doing. I love the posters. I like the poster art. I have to check that out. I'm gonna have to check that out. I've not seen that. I have to fucking check that out. Bloody fucking fuck. Yes, Michaela Snow says, you feel the Thorn trilogy has a TV? You feel the Thorn trilogy has a TV? You feel the Thorn trilogy feels like TV-made movies. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's better. Thank you, Michaela. Do I feel the Thorn trilogy feels like TV-made movies? No, I don't think it feels like TV-made movies. I just think that I just don't. Because, let's not forget that, again, if you want to talk about intent, it only is revealed that it's a Thorn trilogy when you get to this to part 6. 4 or 5. You don't watch 4 thinking there's nothing to do with Thorn in 4. You could watch that and there's nothing in there. 5, you got this symbol on his wrist, but you don't know where it's going. Even the director of 5 had no idea who the Man in Black was. No idea. He implemented that. He put the Man in Black in there because he felt, and this is what he said, he felt that the movie needed some more subtext in terms of mystery. Like, he needs some more, like, ooh, what's going on? And I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, oh, I have no idea who he is. I had no idea who he was really at all. I figured I'd leave that for the people that did part 6. What the fuck? Incompetence. Absolute incompetence. And so then it becomes the Thorn cult in 6. But, 4, there's nothing in 4 that even remotely points to a Thorn cult. Because there was no Thorn cult. That wasn't the intention. 4 to the Thorn cult is like 1 to the brother-sister story arc. Really, is what it is. No, they don't feel like TV movies. They just feel like bad movies. Darren Sand says it's basically some Precinct 13 with Vietnam vets instead of cops and prisoners. Okay. I'm going to have to, I have not heard of this movie. I've not heard of it. I'm going to check it out. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Jason. Really appreciate the recommendation. I will check it out. Toronto Freddy sends in a super chat. Thank you, Toronto Freddy. Says, you get a chance to check out Bates Motel yet? I have not. I have not had a chance to check out Bates Motel yet, but it is on the list. It is definitely on the list. I will do it. Do not worry. Gary Rangel says, Dave, why did Lori give Allison the $3,000? Why did Lori give Allison the $3,000? Well, I think it was to support her in her life. I think it was for college. I think it was for did she not say it was for college? If she didn't say it was for college, I think it's sort of self-explanatory that because of the I don't want to say toxic, but strained relationship that Lori has with her daughter, Karen, it's clear that she has a better relationship with her granddaughter, Allison. And I think it was just Lori's way of supporting her granddaughter, making sure that, Allison has some money, has a nest egg, not for her life, because she's still quite young, but maybe for college. I think that's the impression I got anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. The chat room can let me know. Maybe she gave it to her for just a whole bunch of weed. I don't know. Frank Riker sends in a super chat. Thank you, Frank. Sends serious. What's the worst way Michael to die? What's the worst way Michael to die? I say if Laurie puts a grenade down his coverall and says Happy Halloween and then he explodes. That is not just the worst way Michael Myers can die. It might be one of the best ways Michael Myers can die in a trick-or-treat motherfucker, sort of way, like in a really bad, are you kidding me kind of way. I got to say that. I think that is probably that. Oh my God, that's funny, man. I need a shave. I need a shave. That is funny. That's really funny. Puts a grenade down his pants. Oh my, where the hell did she get the grenade? Like, what do you know? Or what's funny is she takes the pin out of the grenade and she goes like this, and it falls out of her hand. It falls. It's rolling along the ground. Karen runs to pick it up to quickly toss it to. She only got like what is it? 10 seconds or something? 5 seconds. She picks it up. It's like, Mom, here. Now she's about to toss it to her mother. It explodes. Karen blows up. Her pieces of her body explode everywhere. Karen is annihilated. There's like pieces of her all over the place, and Michael is still alive. Whoa. Man, oh man. Let's see. Michael Martinez says, hey, Frank, what's up? Voodoo Lee says, how do you feel about a Don't Breathe sequel being made? I really liked Don't Breathe. I thought that was actually a really good movie. I don't think it needs a sequel, though, because him just sort of walking along the street during the daytime, I think it was him, right? Stephen Lang survives, right? Yeah, I think so. Really great. Is he pulling the bot? Fuck, how does that movie end again? Is the last shot of Don't Breathe Stephen Lang just walking along the street as we pull back? Or is he walking along the street pulling the body of the main guy? How does that end again? I haven't seen it in a few years. It's something like that. I actually liked the ending a lot, and it was great. Look, would I watch a sequel to Don't Breathe? Yes, because I think there is an opportunity to make. I think you can make a movie like that and make it pretty good. You just kind of up the ante a bit. It's not reliant on really continuity. It's not reliant on it's you could do that and it could be pretty good. But it could be a fucking, I'm down for it. Why not? Let's see a Don't Breathe sequel. Darren Sand says, it's happening. Don't Breathe 2 is in development. That's what I thought. Robbie Kaziol, I just watched your film and it was scary good. Oh, The Intruder. You're talking about The Intruder? I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to do. Jason Wiley says he pulls the body of the woman at the beginning and he survives at the end as she gets on the plane. Right. Oh my goodness, I forgot. The woman survives, right? Because she's with her kid, isn't she? And the two main guys kick the bucket, I think. Right. So he would probably want revenge on her. Okay, right. Yes. I haven't seen this in a while. I got to watch that again. That's a good movie. It's a very good movie. Right. Call that 3D Dave when I do that. Right. Okay. No, there is some continuity there then. There's continuity that you would presumably take into the second movie. Now, you don't have to do that. I mean, you could just extend Stephen Lang's character's story and maybe she got away. Maybe you make a trilogy. So the second movie is just another sort of thing that happens. The third movie, the girl from the first movie makes an appearance again. You could kind of set it up like that. But there is some continuity. There is some continuity there. There is some continuity. There is some content nudity there. That's a whole other word I'm going to bring up. Continuity. I'm laughing at my own jokes. Yes, that's right. I forgot. The blonde, right? She's blonde. Yes. Yes, she got away. I'm down. Because I really liked that first movie. It was surprising and unexpected. I did not expect them to make some of the creative choices they did, like some of the deaths. I was like, oh, wow, they actually did that. Because you think that the main guy there is going to be sort of, not the girl. Okay. Yeah, and like Darren said, I had heard that Don't Breathe 2 was in production, or they were planning a Don't Breathe 2. And I guess that's still on the table. So will it have Stephen Lang seeking revenge on this girl? I don't know. I'm down. Why not? I'm down. Karen Pritchard says, how did the guy beat her to the car? Thought the same thing in Halloween 4, but Michael beating the guys to the truck to get underneath when he was behind them. You know what? It's just, yeah. You know, where the fuck was Michael when Laurie was banging on the neighbors' doors? You know, I mean, he was right there. Nick Castle famously joked, even Michael's got to use the washroom. You know, I mean, it's just, yeah. Those little things, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. You know what I mean? But I get you. Mr. Movie Buff 01 says, I've heard the blind man will have to deal with things from his past in Don't Breathe 2. Oh, so interesting. Well, that girl is from his past, technically. No, I think I know what you're talking about. More of sort of what made him who he was, right? How did he, do we know how he was or why he was blind? Maybe not. That might be revealed as well. I could understand doing that because you don't need to have it continue with that girl. As I was like, that's why I said, you know, you could do a sequel without her because her story really is complete, but it's always that hanging thread that's out there. It's always that one that got away. It's always that sort of incomplete kind of loose end that was never tied up for him. So you could tell a different story in 2. And then if 2 is successful and it's actually pretty good, maybe it's not as good as the first one, but it's, you know what? It's pretty good. You might then be able to do a third movie, wrap up the trilogy, and have that girl from the first movie make her way into the third one, where now it's that loose end that he wants to, you know, and maybe it ends on a note that is ballsy. The bad guy, so to speak, ends, even though really they shouldn't be stealing his money. So technically she's kind of the bad guy, but I think you know what I'm talking about, right? The main dude, right? Who's presumably the antagonist, even though he's more of an anti-hero, really. I think Stephen Lang's character is really kind of an anti-hero because you really do feel some empathy for him because you're like, what the fuck are you stealing this guy's money for? Fuck you, you piece of shit. You know what I mean? So there is that angle to it. I think it would be cool if maybe they did do that in the second movie, but in the third movie, they bring back that loose end, you know, and kind of try to, that might be kind of interesting. And then just wrap up a trilogy, a Don't Breathe trilogy. Just as long as I don't make it 3D. Rikia Fleming. I think it's Rikia Fleming. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Yes, you're saying my name right. Oh, so is it Rikia? Hopefully I am. Maybe I just butchered it again. Would you like a sequel or remake of When a Stranger Calls? Lots of mood and atmosphere, theater of the mind type of movie. Well, there was that remake in 2006, which I actually quite liked. I thought there was a lot of mood and atmosphere in that movie too. I know there are some people that didn't like it. To be fair, I haven't seen that movie in probably about 10 years, but I do remember actually quite enjoying it for what it was. I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty good. I liked that the killer, so to speak, was, you know, always in the shadows, right? You know, he wasn't, that kept him in the shadows. But like I said at the beginning of the show, I did not like that when they finally apprehended him and he was in the back of the patrol car, or the cruiser or whatever, police car, depending on where you are in the world. It's like in overseas, in England, they call trucks lorries. And I have an Aunt Lori. And I was like, so is like over there, would she be like my Aunt Truck? Anyway. So yeah, so I think that, so the end of that movie, the 2006 movie, we see his face, like a glimpse of his face. And I remember thinking, no, I like that movie. So that's a remake. Could When a Stranger Calls stand to do could we have another remake? Here's the problem. There was a pretty good remake in 2006. The identity and foundation of When a Stranger Calls, there's not a lot there. It's pretty basic. It's pretty simplistic. That's what we like about it, right? But to do another remake of that again, I don't see them doing that. If they were to remake When a Stranger Calls, they would either... You see, okay, so the first When a Stranger Calls from 1979, the first 20 minutes is like my Intruder film. The first 20 minutes is sort of the, have you checked the children and all that kind of stuff, right? And then the rest of the movie is like this cat and mouse game between the cop and the guy and all that kind of stuff. And we really don't see her again until the end of the movie. The remake in 2006 is kind of like my Intruder movie, but a full-length feature film where they take the first 20 minutes of the original movie and they make a whole movie out of just that first 20 minutes. To do that again is almost like, can you really do it any better? Like, it kind of seems, I have no confidence really that they could make a better movie of that. I mean, maybe they could. That's not what I mean. Let me backtrack and say that I see that if they were to remake When a Stranger Calls, they would either... They would remake the 1979 version where it's just the first 20 minutes and then you have this cat and mouse chase and you're amping it up. And there's a lot of directions you could go in, I guess. I think that's what it is. I because there's a 2006 remake that is pretty good for what it is, I don't know if redoing that movie again and telling the first 20 minutes over 90 minutes again would be worth it. It's just kind of like, we've already done that. I think maybe you take the original 1979 film, because I do agree that the middle of the movie is kind of boring. Maybe you take the middle of that movie and that's where you make it more exciting. You know what I mean? And you make this real intense detective cat and like the first 20 minutes is When a Stranger Calls, and then the next hour is like 7 or something, it's like, whoa, it's like really fucking intense, or like Zodiac or something, and then you end it with how you would end it, like you did with the 1979 film. Like, maybe that's what you need to do, remake it, but take the middle of the original film and amp it up a bit, because I really don't see you doing the other stuff any better, because it's already been done, so to speak. Hopefully that made sense. I know I was going around and around there, but you guys get me thinking. And it's in real time here, and I'm kind of thinking, and I don't think they're going to do it anytime soon, but, and of course, there's always that worry that they'll do it and they'll sensationalize it. And you will see the guy, that's one thing that I will say the 2006 remake did well. There's a lot of mood and atmosphere in that movie, and they kept that guy at bay. They didn't show him, it's not like blood, guts, and gore, and it was a suspenseful film, so yeah, but I don't know. I know that was really roundabout there. I'm really sorry, but you get me thinking, and then I start thinking about that, and then I start thinking about this, and I'm like, I don't know. And but you're right. A lot of mood and atmosphere in that first 20 minutes of that movie. Let's see here. Eddie Greens 101 says, Ollie Mercer, what's up, dude? Frank Riker sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Frank. Says, Dave, do you think the problem and greatness of horror is that you don't need closure to have fun, but some need to have explanations? That's a great question, Frank. I think it comes down to the audience. And I think the audience has to be mature enough to understand that some of the greatest things in life, some of the great mysteries of the world are alluring and interesting, and we're obsessed with them because they're mysteries. The journey is often far more interesting and dynamic than the destination. And we can get lost and enamored in the euphoria of the what if, the mystery, whether it's UFOs, whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's the Loch Ness Monster, whether it's ghosts, whether it's true crime, somebody goes missing, and, you get enamored and obsessed with the mystery of it all. But then when you find out, the explanation or the result or the destination of that journey, it's like, oh, so aliens are real. Okay, they're real. Cool. And so that euphoria of the mystery is no longer there. And I think some of the greatest ghost stories, when I say ghost stories, I don't mean literally ghosts, but some of those campfire ghost type stories, whether it's, Halloween or Friday the 13th or, a literal ghost story or, whatever, are best left to the unknown, to the imagination. And, I think it just comes down, years ago, those types of stories worked, because of the audience, and I think as we've grown as an audience, I think we've also become, dumber as an audience. We need to be explained. We need it spoon fed to us. But. It's like, no, but that's the whole point. That's the idea. You're not supposed, but that doesn't make any sense. No, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. That's the point. He's gone. The guy looks over the balcony. He's gone. But where did he go? I don't know. But how? But then what happened next? I don't know. Make something up in your own mind. But Dave, it's just, years ago, those were great stories to end movies like that, and you still see movies ending like that. But I don't know if we're, in a general sense, there's a lot of us here in the chat room that are. But in a general sense, as an audience, I don't think we're as mature as we used to be. And we feel that we need everything explained to us. And sometimes the wonderful thing about an ending like Black Christmas, even though I am doing a sequel to it, one of the wonderful things about the ending to the original Halloween or Black Christmas or, what have you, is the mystery of it, and it lets you go, oh, wow. Oh, chilling. And the rewatch value of that is so cool because you're rewatching it to feel the euphoria and not necessarily euphoria, that might be too strong of a word, but the goosebumps and the feeling of the mystery, but if everything is explained to you, you don't have that sense of throughout the journey because you know what the destination is going to be, or what the explanation is going to be, I should say. So I agree. I think that with horror, that is the greatness of horror, that I think you can end. There's no other genre, I think, that you can end on a cliffhanger and that just be it. That is it. Like you can in horror. But in today's world, you're right. As audiences mature, as we become more desensitized, as the industry becomes much more, I mean, it's always been a business, but with, now it's a multi-billion-dollar business where, 60, 70 years ago, it may have been a multi-million-dollar business. And at some point, it may, although it's insane, may become a multi-trillion-dollar business. I mean, who knows where we're going to be 50, 60, 100, 200, 300 years from now. Obviously, how we consume our entertainment will be very different. And what that all means. I mean, we'll probably be able to just hit a button on the side of our head and, be in the movie because of VR and shit like that. But, yeah, it's a catch-22. It's its strength, but in today's day and age, it can often be seen as a weakness depending on who the viewer is, because we do live in a world where people seemingly need to know and be spoon-fed everything. They need to have an explanation to everything. And I grew up in a world, as a lot of you did too, where that was the point. You weren't supposed to know. That's the coolest part about it, was the mystery of it. So I agree with that. I do. Yep. It's definitely, especially today, not so much through the 30s or the 40s or the 50s, but especially today, I should say, yes, everybody feels they need an explanation or generally speaking, there's a lot of people that feel they need an explanation for everything. And it's too bad. It's too bad because sometimes things are structured in a way where you're not supposed to know. I mean, you take the end of Black Christmas. I'm very aware that was never supposed to happen. I mean, that was the ending of the movie. That's a creepy fucking ending to that movie. Oh my God, you mean he's still and she's still, and oh my God, and that's it. It just ends. You're like, oh, and you love watching that movie because of the, oh, you know what I mean? I mean, that's what's so great about it. It's weird with my theatrics. But my buddy and I, Bruce, obviously, were playing a what if scenario. Yeah, but what if? What happened to her baby? What if? What if? It's fun, right? It's fun to play. But that movie, even though I'm doing a what if, unofficial sequel, there's no doubt the original Black Christmas, it ain't no need no movie. It ain't no need no movie. You know what I'm saying? I know that's not grammatically correct. I was trying to be funny. It doesn't need a movie, folks. It doesn't need a sequel, is what I'm trying to say. It ain't no need no sequel, folks. It ain't no need no sequel. That doesn't need a sequel. That movie doesn't need a sequel at all. That ending is pure and beautiful and mint. But sometimes it's exciting to play. It's fun to play what if. Jason Wiley says, Dave, let's have an Unsolved Mysteries true crime series. Would you be cool? Would be cool for you to cover real life cases. Dude, I'm down. I'm totally down on doing that. But I have to brush up on, I need to talk about one that I know a lot about. There's a few out there that I find really interesting that I want to know a lot about, that I know a lot about. So I'd probably start there, but I'm totally down with it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yep, I do. I think it would be a lot of fun. Eddie Green sends in a super chat. Eddie Green's 101 says, what kind of headphones do you use? These are the Audio Technica. They are the, let me just make sure. I don't think it says on the side. It doesn't say on the side. One sec. Let me just, is it over there? No, I don't have the box over there. Let me just, I think they are Audio Technica headphones. Yes, they are the, Audio Technica M50. The Audio Technica M50X is what they are. These are the same headphones I use in my booth to my right over there. So it's right now it's connected to the Rode mixing board, but then when I have to go and do voiceover work, I unplug it from there. I plug it into my wait a minute, what's going on here? Oh no, we are live still. Whew, I thought I'd lost you guys there for a moment. I unplug my headphones from my the Rodecaster, and then I plug them into my interface, and then I just walk into my booth over there. So yes, the Audio Technica I always get this mixed up. I always want to say M50. I always wanted to say 50M, but no, M50X are the headphones I use. Professional headphones, great for voiceover, great for mixing and all this kind of jazz. So that's what I use, my man. Hopefully that helped. Diehard Drummer 84 says, Dave, do you like cold pizza? Fuck yes! Yes! Yes, I like cold pizza, my man. I love cold pizza. I like hot pizza too. Hans Gruber says there's a difference between Draphones and studio monitors. Yes, the studio monitors are speakers, essentially, is what they are. And they're near field monitors that give it a flat frequency response. So you hear everything, as is, essentially. These are headphones. My monitors are there. You can see my monitors at the opening of the show. When the camera turns around and zooms right up onto the webcam, you can see the monitors there. But you're right, there's a difference. Chastity Smith says, Dave, have you ever seen Fire in the Sky? Oh, yeah. I've seen Fire in the Sky. Great movie, The Alien Abduction of Travis Walton. Yep, and I know the real life tale of that. If so, your thoughts, were they telling the truth, or was he really, were they telling the truth? Was he really abducted? It's hard to say. He's very convincing. His story has never changed. Even the guys that he was with that supposedly experienced the ship with him. Now, he was the only one that was abducted, apparently. But of course, the other guys, his friends, they've never changed their story either. And, they haven't. Now, Travis Walton has even come out and said that the movie Fire in the Sky is very sensational. Like, they didn't find me naked. I was, there's a lot of things in that movie that even Travis Walton himself says never happened. They amped up the sensationalism to sell the movie, right? Because it's, it's Hollywood. Did it really happen? I don't know. It's a very interesting story. There's a lot of evidence to suggest, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence to suggest that it may have, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest that it may not have. There's a lot of, Either side is circumstantial, but it's a very interesting tale. I don't know. I don't know. I want to believe it. Who doesn't want to believe that? Like, I do believe that we're not alone in the universe. I think you have to be an incompetent, ignorant fool to think that, out of the trillions, quadrillions of stars and the billions and billions and billions of galaxies, that we're the only one. It's just by math alone, it's not probable. I'm not saying there are other human beings walking around driving cars on another planet. It all depends on how life evolved on that planet. It could be very different. They may not look like us at all. They may look more like what you saw in Arrival, right? Or something like that. But to think that we are the only intelligent life in the universe, I think is just ridiculous. Whether Travis Walton was abducted by one of them, who knows? But I want to believe it. I really do want to believe it. I do. Mark Striano. God, I need to get these names right. Sometimes just look funny to me. Striano. Mark Striano. That's probably how you say it. Mark Striano. I think it's because I'm a voice actor. And when I see words or names, I instinctually want to phonetically kind of break them down. I think it's working against me, is why sometimes I have some issues on some of the names. But I think I said that right this time. Anyway, John Candy films. I like Armed and Dangerous. Underrated classic. Volunteers. Oh, the Volunteers. Oh, totally underrated. And Great Outdoors. I'm right there with you. My favorite John Candy films are, my favorite is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Bar none, the best John Candy film, period. And Steve Martin, unbelievable. I like Uncle Buck, too. I think that's a great one. I like The Great Outdoors, really underrated with Dan Aykroyd. Yep, that's a great one. I even like, Who's Harry Crumb? Love Who's Harry Crumb. Only the Lonely is really good. An underrated one that I thought was kind of funny that came out in and around the time of Only the Lonely was Delirious. Have you guys seen Delirious with John Candy? Check that one out. Yeah, we could use a good John Candy movie right now. We could really use a good John Candy movie. Oh, man. Chris Haim sends in a super chat. Thank you, Chris. Says, Dave, I know you have some love for sci-fi. I do. What did you think about The Faculty? One of my favorites from the 90s. Yeah, I think that was 1999. I like that movie a lot. I do. I really like that movie. I thought that was a good movie. Yep, I like The Faculty. It was, I don't know, it came out, during that run of the mid to late 90s horror. But there's something about, I like The Faculty more than I like Halloween H2O. I like The Faculty more than I like I Know What You Did Last Summer. I like I Know What You Did Last Summer better than I like Halloween H2O. I don't like the sequel, though. I still Know What You Did Last Summer. I know Jennifer Love Hewitt was in it, and that's why I went and saw it, but it's not a very good movie. Yeah, I like The Faculty. I do. Yeah, that was a cool movie. That was fun. The teachers all are fucking weird and, and the students are like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. I like that. I like the first Final Destination. I like the first Final Destination, which I think was that 99? 2000? 2000, I think. I like that movie too. I think I saw the second Final Destination, but I never saw any of the rest. All right, we'll go for a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes here, because I did have to start later because Joseph Esposito says, Dave, has a movie ever really scared you bad that you saw when you were older that actually really spooked you? A movie that has scared me really bad that I've seen older as an adult that really has spooked me. No, I don't think so. Geez. I don't think so. I can't think of anything. No, I can't think of anything. Let me think. Let me put that into the back of my mind and see if something, and let it marinate and see if something pops up. Eddie Green says, super chat, Miss Dave. Did I miss a super chat? Let's go back and see here. I don't think I did. Are you talking about your super chat? What kind of headphones do you use? I told you. I did tell you what kind of headphones I used. I spent like a few minutes on it. I don't think I missed a super chat. Oh, Reese Wilson. Reese Wilson sent in a super chat, said, hey, Dave, enjoy. I did. That's the one you're talking about. Hey, Reese, so sorry, buddy. There we go. So Reese Wilson did send in a super chat, and I did miss it. He said, hey, Dave, enjoyed The Intruder. Fun little short film. I cannot wait for It's Me, Billy, and I'll throw as much support your way as I can. Stay loose. I don't think I said that. That seems to be the only one that I think I might have missed. Thank you so much, Reese. Really appreciate you saying that. Glad you enjoyed that little film. And any support you can give, no matter how big or small, is always greatly appreciated. Every little bit counts. Every little bit makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? So really appreciate that. And thank you to Eddie Green for pointing that out. Yes, I got it. Always can count on you McCrazies to say, Dave, you missed something. You gotta go back. You guys are on the ball. Long dong diggin' schlong. Love that. Long dong diggin' schlong. It's an 80s song. No, it's not really. Dave, did you hear of DB Cooper? Thoughts on a movie about him? Isn't that the guy that sort of was on the plane and they went to meet him at the airport and he wasn't on the plane? Isn't that guy? DB Cooper, I think. I think that would be an interesting movie. But then you got to sort of figure out, what are you telling? Are you telling the story that leads up to that moment? Or are you telling the story that leads up to that moment, maybe in the beginning of the second act, and then the rest of the movie is speculation, because we really don't know what happened to him. I mean, some people believe that he died on because the money was found. I think some bills were found on a beach. Maybe he went into the water. He was eaten by sharks. Who knows? No one really knows what happened. So there's two ways that, you can approach that film. You tell the story of him, and then it ends with that, and you leave the ending of the movie sort of to speculate what happened to him. Or maybe you start with that, and then the rest of the movie is all about, maybe is essentially made up, but it's using inspiration from the, speculation and probability of what likely happened to him based on the circumstantial evidence that we have, and you tell that story. That might be kind of cool. I'd be open to seeing a treatment at the very least. if I was a producer, a studio executive at Paramount or Warner Brothers or something, or whatever, or wherever, I'd be, yeah, sure. I'd be open to hearing that. I don't know if it's got a lot of viability at the box office. That might be a streaming thing. You know what I mean? I don't know how much money you'd really want to put into that. Maybe 5 million, maybe, that doesn't strike me as like a $50 million movie. But I like your thinking though. I like your thinking. That's kind of cool. Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting, unusual, mysteries out there. All right. 3 more minutes. We'll bring this to 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 3 more minutes. Let's see what we got here. Nick says, have you seen the original sequel, When a Stranger Calls Back? Yes, I had mentioned that earlier in the stream. 93. It was a TV movie, I believe, with Kane and Durning returning to their original roles. Yes. Oh, yes. I have seen it. Yep. Killer's great at hiding, I got to say. Ending is suspenseful. I agree. If you guys have not seen them, and again, I think it was a made-for-TV movie. The sequel to the original When a Stranger Calls, it's called When a Stranger Calls Back. And yes, from 1993. And I think that's a TV movie, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Let's see here. Johnny T says, Dave, have you ever heard the Bob Lazar story? Believable? I have heard of that. I'm actually very well versed with Bob Lazar's story. And again, nobody knows for sure, but he comes off as credible. He comes off as believable. A lot of the things that he has talked about have been proven correct. Scientific things we can quantify, not, we can't quantify whether he's telling the truth about spaceships. But certainly a lot of the science that he talks about has been proven to be accurate and true. Stuff that supposedly was not true when he was talking about it. So there are a lot of things to Bob Lazar's story that definitely favor it being true, 100%. Are there always things that are like, well, I don't know? Yeah, of course. But if I was going based on what I know and my feeling, I would say I believe the guy. Yeah, I do. But that's just going on by what I know. I mean, I'm open to being proven wrong, and then he ends up just being a lying piece of crap. But everything so far, there's a lot of truth to what he said. And I don't mean truth in the sense that he really worked at S4 and he really did see, you know, we have that. I mean, well, we know that he did work at certain, like at Los Alamos and things like, we know that that's true, but whether he actually helped to figure out to back engineer a spaceship, well, we have no idea. We don't know. There's no photos. There's no documents. We don't know. That part is we're just relying on Bob's testimony, right? But a lot of the science of what Bob is talking about is actually true, is factual. So, you know, maybe, right? Maybe he seems, I like him as a person. He seems credible, but who knows? Who knows? I want to believe it. I want to believe it really bad because I do believe there is other intelligent life out there, but who knows? Maybe we'll do shows on these. Might be kind of fun to do. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me on episode, I was going to say 90. There's 90 people watching. 44 of McRae Live. I want to thank you for tuning in here on this Friday afternoon. Thank you to all those of you that sent in super chats. Really appreciate it. Of course, you guys supporting the channel on any level. It keeps these shows going, and I really do appreciate it. I also appreciate the non-super chat questions, of course, too. You guys, all of you guys are the heartbeat of this channel, and your support does not go unappreciated. Always remember that. And thank you for indulging me at the beginning of the show and watching that little short film I did 10 years ago called The Intruder. That was fun. And maybe I'll do more of that in the future as well. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Maybe I'll be back with a standalone video. Maybe I won't be. I don't know. It all depends. I do have some ideas. You never know. Just got to keep you guys on your toes. But if not, I definitely will be back on Monday night for Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to tune into that. Tony and I are watching either the original Dracula from 1931 or Frankenstein from 1931. Well, the Dracula with Bela, the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi. Am I saying that right? I always want to say his name wrong, or I always want to say his name wrong. I always say his name incorrectly. I always get the vowels. It's wait. No, it's Lon Chaney. Right, of course. I get them mixed up. Yes, that's right. No, it is Bela Lugosi. I am right. Dracula. Right. Bela Lugosi. Right. It's Frankenstein that's got Boris Karloff. Long chain. Yes, Boris Karloff. That's right. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I got it right. I sometimes get those not the actors mixed up, but sometimes I will inadvertently refer one to the other. So yeah, so it'll either be Dracula with Bela Lugosi or Frankenstein with Boris Karloff. Monday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Episode, what are we up now? 65 or something? Two Dudes and Some Bullshit? God, I never know. And David Ferguson says, is there a Thorazine tomorrow? Actually, David, I'm going to make an announcement about that. There is not going to be a Thorazine tomorrow. I'm going to push it to Sunday. Okay, so hopefully you guys are still around. And that's, if you're part of my Level 3 Patreon, I'm going to have to push it to Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m., but I will make the announcement on Patreon. And hopefully you guys will be around. But I'm going to have to do that for tomorrow's episode of Thorazine. But nonetheless, you guys are amazing. You know you guys are amazing. You keep this show going. I will be back. In the meantime and in between time, thank you again. I will talk to you guys soon. Alrighty. Cheers.